All right, guys, welcome to chapter 4. We're going to talk about time management, everybody's favorite. We really need to pay attention to where our time is going when you're planning, when you're in college and you're planning. It really should be like your second job. Obviously, if you're working right now, that's your main priority, again, to pay bills and whatnot. But you should be making almost as much time for school and dedication and prioritizing. It really should come first, um, after things like working. Obviously, you have kids. But other than that, it should be in that, I guess, the top three really on your planner. So this is one of my favorite memes, reclaiming my time. Time management, it feels like we have no time, and a lot of time it's just our bad time management skills. It's just not us not prioritizing and holding on to the things that we need to, and maybe letting go of things we spend our time on that we don't need to spend our time on. So this all matches your values and goals. We talked about in chapter 3 your core values and how you're going to set up your goals. The last piece of the SMART format is that, time frame, right? And that goes into our time management. What do you need to do today to achieve your goal? Did your choices today support your goals? We're not always going to say yes to that, and that's okay. Give yourself some grace. But you do need to be taking into that time management. So, if your goal is to pass your courses, look at today. Did you spend any time studying? Did you spend any time working on homework? Did you log into Blackboard at all? Did you attend your lecture if you have a virtual lecture in your course? All of that plays into your time management. If you didn't, why? Where did your time go that day? So it really is about establishing priorities. I really tell students, especially with online courses, to, even in a course like ours, which is asynchronous, meaning we don't have regular meetings, put it on your calendar like you have a regular meeting time. Put 2 or 3 days on your calendar that you're going to log in and you're going to do your reading. You're going to listen to the recordings. You're going to start working on assignments, working on your discussion post, seeing what's coming up next. Put some scheduled time for that. Don't leave it to, I'll get to it when I get to it, because a lot of times it falls off our radar. Um, Online courses in general before COVID always had the highest rates of students not finishing, and it really is because it's so easy to forget you're even in the course. There's nothing on campus that's reminding you. You have to remember to check your email to see any notifications from your professor, and it's just so easy to slip away from you. So really put it on your schedule, um, so that you're logging in and you see it on your calendar. And yes, you should be using a calendar, whether it's electronic or a planner. Make sure that you have that balance. So it's okay to put in that social life, but put in your work and school first and build your social life around that. Um, right now, I guess there's less of a social life, but I'm sure you're still doing some things. And that's okay, whether it's virtual happy hours and brunches, whether you're going over to a family member's house. Um, all those can be on there, but make sure that you're not doing that so much that you're not able to get to your schoolwork. And that goes back to, what is the most important thing that you need to do right now? What is the best way to juggle your priorities so you can meet all your goals? And really writing it out on a planner can give you kind of that visual of how much time that you're spending and what can kind of be cut. This is my favorite. This is the Covey quadrant model. It's also called the Eisenhower method in the book, but this is basically just how we break up our time. So we have this first one. This is the urgent. This is the crisis. This is the big one. Medical emergencies, pressing problems, deadline dimming projects. This is when everything is coming up. This is the high stress one. This is the one we have to focus on. We can't get away. But we can mitigate some of this. So if we spend our time in this not urgent and this focus one. So this is, as you can see, it's important. It is the stuff, the preparation and planning. This is putting things in your time management. Prevention, getting ahead of projects. So a crisis might be a paper is due tonight at midnight. Prevention would be starting this paper before the day it's due. That's an easy way to keep it from being a crisis, and something manageable. Remember what your values are. Definitely get your exercise, whatever your self care looks like. It could be a walk, it could be hardcore exercise, whatever it is that works for you. Make sure you have that support system, and true relaxation is all in this urgent. This is self-care. This is planning, knowing what's coming, being prepared, because crisis is going to happen. You can't get away from it. But I know when I was a student with the 1 year old, if you have kids, they're walking time bombs. They just are. I never knew when she was going to get sick or something was going to happen. So part of my prevention was I always started my papers super early, because if the day or the week that it was due, something was going on with her, I'd rather turn in a crap paper and get a lower grade than not turn in anything because I wasn't working on it, and then she got sick and I was out for 3 days or whatever yours might be. That's kind of what we talk about with this preparation, planning, and prevention. Another good example is if you study regularly, then the week that the test comes up, and let's say you have a crisis, because it happens, and you don't get the study time that you thought, you're not so far behind because you've been studying regularly. You didn't need it as much as if you haven't looked at what we did a month ago and it's now going to be on the test, and you've got 2 hours before the test, but your car breaks down and you end up messing around with that and you don't have time to open your book. That is a key difference. And I can tell you the quadrant you should spend most of your time is this guy right here. Your focus, your preparation, your planning. Regular study time is working on papers early, getting ahead of things. If you have downtime, what can you be working on that you stay productive? And maybe that's right here. Maybe that's recreation and relaxation. I'm not saying you can't do any of that. But make sure you spend most of your time in here so that when this hits, this deadline isn't killing you. The crisis happens, but you can kind of manage it. And then you have your two guys down here, quadrant of waste and quadrant of deception, and they make me laugh. Quadrant of deception makes me laugh the most because I get called into a lot of meetings, and a lot of meetings are a waste of my time and shouldn't have been called. And you can't always avoid that. Sometimes that's the job. But if you're calling the meetings, doesn't need to be a meeting. How much stuff really happens? A lot of times we procrastinate by, oh, I should clean out my email inbox right now. Do you? Do you need to do that right now? Or is that just an easy way to procrastinate on whatever it is you're avoiding, right? And then this one is my favorite as well because let's be honest, what it doesn't have in here is viewing mindless TV shows. TikTok, Snapchat, social media, any of that. We all know we spend hours on that stuff. And if you don't believe me, look at your phone app. Phones, Netflix, Hulu, all of that stuff um, takes up a lot of our time, and it can be part of your true recreation and relaxation. I love watching bad TV shows before I go to bed to sort of decompress for the day. But if I did it all day, then it becomes my quadrant of waste. Then I'm not getting things done. Um, so make sure that you're paying attention to that. Set limits if you need to, whether on your TV or on your phone, so that you can get this stuff done and then build in time for a little bit of waste. This is the TED Talk that is step 3 for you in Blackboard. Be sure you watch it. It's very entertaining and it talks a lot about procrastination, something that we all suffer from. There's lots of ways to overcome it. Your book's going to go through several strategies. So make sure that you pay attention. I think that the best way to start looking to overcome procrastination is look at why are you procrastinating. Sometimes it's as easy as it's just not fun and I don't want to do it. And sometimes it's a little bit more, it goes back to those values. Like, I really don't want to do it. I know for me, something I procrastinate a lot is vacuuming because I just hate it. I don't have a reason why I hate it, but I hate it. So it's harder for me to get motivated to vacuum, but it's something that I have to do. But it's not a deep seated hatred, so I can get it done. But why are you procrastinating, and why are you not able to get over your procrastination? And then what can you do to help? Having a motivated friend is super, super helpful, important. If you can get a study group together for a class, especially a particularly difficult class, that will definitely help with your procrastination. Just make sure it's a true study group. If y'all meet and don't actually study, that's just friends. That's just hanging out. And that's not necessarily productive. Make sure that you get a group together that's going to help you keep on focus. All right, and that is it really for chapter 4. You do have a time management project coming up, so I will be sending details about that, where you will be recording your time for 7 days, all day, every day, so that you can really kind of see where your time goes. You can go back to that Covey-Eisenhower method and see where you're spending the most of your time. You can look at things that you seem to be procrastinating the most on, and then that's going to be a chance for you to sort of adjust. Every student hates this project, but it's sort of like when the check engine light comes on your car, right? You know something's wrong, and you know that when you take it in, it's going to be something expensive that you have to fix it. But we also know if we ignore it, then it's going to get worse. You're going to get to the point where the car won't run when you could have just fixed it when the light first came on and made a huge difference, right? That's what I call this project. It's just the check to see where your time is going, and if you need to make adjustments now while you're getting used to the college culture and the college environment. All right, thanks, guys.